Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I thought it was time for us to take a look at something from Chapter 12 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex that should be setting up warning signs for anyone who isn't already suspicious of Jura's character, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I want to talk to you guys about why we strongly need to consider the possibility that Jura is using the other Shinjuu, and why the reveal of the Thorn Souls for the Shinjuu might be something that we need to keep our eyes on moving forward when it comes to Jura's character and his motives, which is a quick reminder for those of you guys who have not seen the Boruto chapter review. The review is up. We got it up a day after the official release because the chapter came out a day earlier this month, so my editor had less time to work on it. So check that out if you've not seen it just yet. So if you've been here on the channel for a while as a part of our community, then you know the two characters that I consistently been comparing Jura to these last few months. They've been Cell from Dragon Ball's manga, and they've been Kaiju number 9 from the Kaiju number 8 manga. Two very patient villains who don't move without calculation and are willing to play the long game in order to get the outcome that they are most excited about achieving, even if it takes them time to get there. Jura has already been shown thinking and evolving at a faster rate than the other awakened Shinjuu. He's being shown being more calculated than them. He's been shown being able to set aside his own instinctual urges in order to help him achieve his goals. Instead of chasing after Boruto when he was cornered, the guy goes, yeah, I'll just catch him some other time. I'm curious about something else, and then proceeds to go get a library card and read a bunch of books. He's in that way very similar to Kaiju number 9, which no spoilers, since even though the anime's first season might be over, there are some of you guys who probably haven't seen it just yet, so I'll keep this part spoiler free. But in short, Kaiju number 9 is someone who isn't like the other Kaiju who just blindly follow their instincts to destroy and attack humanity, because Kaiju, they're the new apex predators in this world. On top of the food chain, Kaiju number 9 is someone who's risen above his instincts as a Kaiju, and he's made adjustments to his approach. He consumes information with the intention of learning about his enemies. He makes out plans, and then he runs simulations on plans to be prepared for outcomes. When he fails in an approach, he makes adjustments and he studies his failures. His instincts, they don't guide them. Instead, he is guided by his curiosity and his own intellect, and that's what causes him to make the decisions that he does in his war against humanity. When you think about it, we've seen that with Jura. Jura doesn't just go randomly look for a person with chakra to eat them. He just had to fight with Team 10, and he showed little or no interest in them. Instead, he was focused on Himawari, just as we saw Hidari was solely focused on Sarda. But it should be worth noting that even then, there is a very key distinction and difference between these two. So whereas Hidari was solely focused on Sarda, clearly being guided by his instincts, Jura, like Kaiju number 9, is shown evolving and shifting his targets. Shikadai, for instance, grabbed his attention enough that he made a mental note, hey, you're Shikadai Nar, I'm gonna remember your name. And he expressed a desire to meet him again one day. And I have to think that he has more in his mind than just playing shogi with the young upstart genius. Even when all his instincts were calling on him to consume Himawari, Jura still took time to pursue an interest in Shikadai. So what was Jura still shown doing? Well, in the battle with Himawari, he was still able to move on to a new curiosity beyond Himawari has the 9 tails, that's cool. Instead, he was shown evolving in plain sight, and that Himawari battle is a perfect example of it. Let's be real for a second. He could have just as easily held Himawari down and ate her by using his wood release, but instead he was shown following his curiosity. He saw her body was using the 9 tails chakra. He saw that she was resonating in a way that was more like a Biju itself instead of a normal Jinchuriki, and the guy got super curious, and he proceeded to do a whole science experiment on her in real time as he was fighting her. What we saw as Jura was battling Himawari was that Jura was following the steps of the scientific method in real time when it came to Himawari, down to the guys shooting mini Biju Damas at her repeatedly just to see how fast she would regenerate, how much chakra she needed to regenerate, and how long she could stand the whole assault itself. That is someone who's arisen above their instinct. Just as Cell was smart enough to kill future Trunks in the manga, travel back in time, wait for the twin cyborgs 17 and 18 to be awakened in the new timeline that he created, and he spent all those years draining the life force of people in secret to power up to a point he could eventually consume 17 and 18 to reach his final form. Jura has also shown that same level of patience. He chose to wait and read all the books he could before he made his move. He protected the bookstore from Kawaki because he basically was planning to come back with a flash mob of claw grimes in the future and take all the books with him. When he saw Boruto in this new chapter, instead of giving chase, the guy said, "I'll watch and I'll gather info this whole time before I strike," and he once again shifted his priority. Boruto was no longer the one who he wanted to have eaten. Instead of Boruto, he wanted Kawaki to be eaten because Kawaki was a suitable vessel to be eaten, since, as we're told in chapter 72 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, both Boruto and Kawaki are now 100% Otsutsuki. Boruto's 100% because Momoshiki converted his remaining 18% data into repairing Boruto's organs, and Kawaki's 100% because he has a weaponized karma now. Even though he was close to full completion when he lost the karma, it's as Amato told Kawaki. He is still Ishiki's vessel, even though Ishiki no longer has a soul that can be used by Kawaki's karma to revive him. It's a house with all the furniture inside of it, but the owner was suddenly dead. The karma seal got placed on the Kawaki, and it kept changing his genetics because we literally see his Kokugan eye growing in his eye as time goes on, something that he's never had before. And even when he did have it, he didn't have the full-blown spokes like we currently see. Jura showed that he can move away from Boruto and onto Kawaki, someone he had absolutely no interest in. What's to say he hasn't already thought of some other use for the awakened Shinjuu? I think that he did. After all, he is the one, the only one, out of the four of them that was consistently making it a point to buck his natural instincts. It's what makes Jura stand out in comparison to them. Think about it for a second. Bug saw Boruto and immediately tried to eat him. Hidari saw Boruto and he joined in as well. Matsuri saw him and hey, she said, "Time to gangbang Boruto." Jura was the only one seemingly disinterested, and he's the only one to not be laser focused on the target of his instincts. He's shown us in this last chapter that he is very patient, he is very calculating. Whereas the other three awakened Shinjuu, they're your typical shonen villains who are just utter simpletons. Is it really that crazy to think that Jura isn't using the other Shinjuu for some other purpose, some other nefarious purpose? Again, I don't think it is. He's made a point to retrieve Hidari's thorn soul, and he looked spooked that Boruto knew exactly what it was, and he proceeded to say Boruto is too dangerous to be left alive. That's a very strong assertion to make. Why would he save Hidari if he didn't have something else planned for him and he didn't need him alive? He wouldn't, which means there's another motive there for Jura, and he seemingly needs the other Shinjuu in order for that to happen. There are four of them and only two Otsutsuki. Someone isn't going to be able to dine on that grade A steak known as Boruto or the unseasoned chicken breasts that are known as Kawaki. Someone's going to be left eating some burnt Konohamaru fries or some creamy Ada buns at the rate that this is going. I think we need to have a very serious conversation about Jura being a potential gaslighter when it comes to these awakened Shinjuu and attempting to use them for something in the future, because someone who is continuously evolving like him is not going to be content with just following on the predestined path. Ikimoto has said it years ago, so he put it in an interview. I believe in Luca Comics 2018. He said one of the themes of the Boruto story is about breaking free of the familial bonds and the expectations in order to write your own destiny, which I'm paraphrasing right now since I don't have the hard drive on me at the moment where I saved that 3-day interview transcript with Ikimoto, the Shueisha editor assigned to V-Jump titles, and the anime staff that were there for one of the days that they end up speaking. Again, Ikimoto was there for all three. Two Blue Vortex, it's its own story. Yet at the same time, that same theme, it can be applied to the continuation of the story itself. The Ten-Tails are meant to consume an Otsutsuki. They're meant to harvest a chakra fruit. Then they are meant to be discarded once the chakra fruit has been eaten by an Otsutsuki. Yet look at what we have here. Boruto said the Ten-Tails had changed from their primary purpose, and the one who appears to have changed the most, it is Jura, who appears to be the leader of the Shinjuu, the person whose name, depending on the lettering you use in Japanese, it translates into 10th demon, as in 10 tails, since the 10 tails is the 10th tail beast, i.e. the 10th demon. Is someone like that going to be okay with casting aside their own thirst for knowledge, which continues to grow as he gets new experiences? Or is he going to find some way to run and cling to his life in order to continue seeking out new stimulation and gain more information? I think it's going to be the latter, being honest with you. he's not going to be okay with willingly just going down the path of being used to harvest a chakra fruit when it's a road not yet taken situation, and he's clearly still got things that he's not fulfilled and curiosity that's unsatisfied. It will be like if, God forbid, I were to die today. There are a lot of things that I've not accomplished, so I would not be a happy camper if I suddenly pulled up dead and say I never got the chance to, I don't know, get married and have a couple of kids in a marriage, or I didn't get the chance to go skydiving, things that are on my bucket list. Like if I ever have a son, I want to raise my son in a way that I wasn't raised because I didn't have a father there. I've worked in politics, but I want to run for something in local and state level office and hold office. And I've been told by people that I work for, like, yeah, you got a future in this. I will be very, very disappointed if I never got the opportunity to do something like that. Jura is a lot like that. He's going to want a lot more. He's going to want more time. And for the narrative, it's the most compelling thing in terms of the paths that we can potentially go down if we go with this idea that he is using the other Shinjuu to get what he wants, because they're simple-minded. They're simple-minded enough to be manipulated, which would explain why he went out of his way to guide them towards their targets for consumption. Jura might be an even bigger mastermind than we all think, and I think the story is potentially going down the right path here. Just as the right path right now is to click on this Anime Explained video on the left, or click this Boruto chapter review if you've not seen the chapter 12 review already.